Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. It is Jackstown. So, we've been hearing a lot of talk recently from the people on ESPN like Stephen A. Smith and just different sports channels and shows that just anything that talks about the NBA. They've been talking a lot about how the NBA is losing ratings because it has a lot of problems, a lot of things it needs to fix. And first and foremost, let me just say, I agree with what they're saying, but at the same time, I've always been and always will be a huge NBA fan. It really was the first sports league I paid attention to. I can remember Laker games because I'm a Laker fan for as long as I can remember. Like, I remember watching games when I was like 3 years old. I've been a lifelong fan and I always will be. But with that being said, they do have a good point in that especially the regular season has a lot of problems that they need to fix to make it even better, because I feel like compared to the other two sports that I watch, at least like MLB baseball and then obviously the NFL for football, the regular season for the NBA I feel like is the least exciting and the least enjoyable to watch, even though it is enjoyable still. But today I felt like I could go with a completely opinionated list and come up with 5 things that I think the NBA should do to improve its regular season and just overall make the league better. Now, of course, this is like I said, it's 100% subjective. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, where you agree with me, disagree with me, any new suggestions you have, anything you have to say, let me know. But with that being said, I'm going to list 5 problems that the NBA needs to fix to make it even better than it already is. By the way, guys, you're going to have to excuse my eye right here because I don't know why, but the last couple days, like day and a half, it's been a little red and a little swollen. I have no idea what it is. I put eye drops in there and it's just this eye. It's just, hopefully it gets better soon, but just for this video, sorry about that. But all right, guys, the first thing the NBA has to fix, and this is probably my biggest pet peeve, so we're going to start right off the bat with the most important fix the NBA has to make, and that is to eliminate or at least severely reduce resting and load management. Because I tell you what, like, this really is, I think, the biggest problem the NBA has is fans who show up to the games. They're expecting stars. They want to watch the stars play. The NBA is probably the most star-driven league, at least among NFL, NBA, and MLB. Those three, like, they're all obviously star-driven, but NBA the most. Like, when you go to a Laker game, for example, you go to see LeBron and Anthony Davis. And when you go to a Clipper game, you go to see Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, okay? Now, if they're hurt, I get it. Obviously, everyone gets hurt. Injuries are part of the game. But I hate seeing players miss games just because they're resting or just because they want their load to be managed. Like, they just don't want to risk further injury in the future. I mean, I'm tired of that. If you're healthy, you should play. Like, this has been a problem with the NBA for a long time. I just feel like this year it's been especially bad. Like, this, I feel like it's at an all-time bad problem at this moment in time. So I feel like the NBA's really got to work on that. Now, the way to eliminate this, I would say, is, if you don't want to completely go from, okay, you're allowed to rest to like no rest at all, at the bare minimum, maybe like allow like every player to be rested once or twice a year, something like that. But other than that, like, I would tell Commissioner Adam Silver that if you're healthy, you're playing. You're losing revenue because when people buy tickets and show up to games, they want to see the stars play. When people turn on the TV, tune into that channel to watch their team play, or even other teams, you're losing a lot of entertainment. You're losing the best players on the floor, which makes the sport worse. Obviously, you come to watch the best players, the best talents in the world, and being deprived of that for no reason. They're not even hurt, just because they don't want to risk further injury by not coming to their job. I mean, part of the job requires the risk of injury. I feel like resting, maybe like once, but like some players, like, I don't want to name anyone, but Kawhi Leonard, like, some of them rest like 5 to 10 games a year. What's the point of that? Like, when it's at the cost of like losing revenue and the NBA losing its star power in games, like, it's not worth it anymore. So definitely got to fix that. Okay, the second thing the NBA's got to fix, and this is another, probably my second biggest pet peeve about the NBA, and I feel like it's not being talked about enough, but it should be. And it is to make loyalty more important in the NBA. Now, what I mean by this is that, free agency and, being traded to other teams, obviously trades and free agency in all sports are very important, but I feel like especially in the NBA, teams could look completely different from one year going on to the next just by like getting star players in free agency who might want to play with each other. And I feel like part of the reason why, like, for example, I love the Lakers, or I love them the most with Kobe and Pau Gasol, which were my favorite teams, and that was when I was the most passionate about the Lakers, is because their whole core, like, you got obviously Kobe, Derek Fisher, Andrew Bynum, Lamar Odom, like, all these guys, they were there for years. So you built up that continuity, you built up that loving for the team because those players were there forever. So they were like career Lakers or something, or career whatever, or they played so many years that over time, like Kobe, right? 20 years on the Lakers. I loved Kobe because every year, he was staying on the Lakers. He wasn't leaving anywhere. And so that build up over time made me love the Lakers even more. Like Kobe was a part of LA. He was a part of the Lakers. And, obviously everyone knows that. But like now, I'm still a Lakers fan. Like nothing will take away the fact that I will always root for the Lakers as my number one team and I'll always be passionate about them. But like when now they have LeBron and Anthony Davis, like, their two best players were already full-time established superstars for a long time on their own respective teams. Then they come here, and same with their other players, like their bench players, their other starters, role players, all their other players, or most of their other players. They've only been here for like a year or two. A lot of them are first year, second year. Like when they keep changing players, I will root for them because it's LA, it's the Lakers. I will never change that allegiance. But at the same time, I don't have that passion when you keep trading and moving players every year and it's just a completely new staff. Like it's just a collection of guys who happen to wear the jersey and the uniform and represent the city that I've always loved and watched and I'm from. So, it's that's what I think that takes away a lot. So they got to emphasize loyalty more. So one thing I would do to help with this is suggest maybe like have a rule where like 3 of your 5 starters have to stay. You can't change more than 2 of your starters. Something like that. I don't know. Adam Silver can figure it out, but like something to emphasize the importance of staying on your team, continuity, staying with the team for a long time. Maybe have it so like 5 of your 12, 13 players have to have been on the team for at least 3 years before you can get rid of them. Or like something like at least 5 of your players should be on the team for at least 3 years. Something like that stresses, the importance of staying with a team. And obviously with the max deals for like free agents, they have it where you can sign for the most amount of money if you stay, but they're still signing for a ton of money wherever they go. So I still don't think that's enough of a reason to let a player stay in a location. Like the whole point of free agency was to complete the core. Like the Dodgers for baseball do it really well, for example. Like our core is, for you baseball fans who know, is Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler. We have star players already, but then the Mookie Betts and Trevor Bauer, we got like those 2 players in free agency to complete the core. So, but it's not supposed to be your entire core, like AD and LeBron, where their 2 best players, their 3, 4, 5 best players were already great players and they come here in free agency and just completely change the team. So free agency is supposed to complete the core you've already over time built up and made better. So that's the point of free agency. I feel like free agency, we've got too caught up in free agency, being the sole reason teams go from bad to good. And I don't think it should be that way. It wasn't meant to be that way. So, and trades too, Anthony Davis came over in a trade, but anyways, just getting star power, building these super teams when you had nothing and then this gives you everything, that goes against the point of drafting and building up teams and players, and you get the point. So make loyalty more important. Number 3, all right, I think the NBA should do something to make the regular season more exciting. Now, again, I know this is the point of the whole video, is to make the regular season more exciting. Do something like a mid-season tournament. Have something where your record after 82 games against anyone counts like the same, and it's just overall record. It's kind of the most boring, compared to like NFL or MLB, you have divisions or like, but basically what I'm saying is after like 40 or 50 games, who the best teams are. I feel like there's a lot of unnecessary games and they just got to do something like maybe, like I said, a mid-season tournament, maybe make it so like how you do in that mid-season tournament helps your playoff seeds, something like that to make the regular season more exciting. Anything they can do would be good and I would be totally for. So, do that. Okay, number 4. I slightly alluded to this in the last thing that the NBA should improve, and that is to do what MLB and NFL does, and that is make divisions or have divisions matter. I know NBA, there technically are divisions, but they don't really matter that much. I think they should go back to at least what they did, a few years ago, where if you win your division, you are guaranteed a top 4 seed, something like that, because I feel like I don't think every game should be treated exactly the same. I like how baseball and football make it so the teams in your division, like you play them more, and those games matter more because, whoever wins the division gets an automatic, or they're guaranteed a playoff spot, and they get to play in a series instead of a wild card game. I just think that makes the stakes more important. Like certain matchups matter more. That's why the Yankees and Red Sox are such a big rivalry. The Yankees and Red Sox play each other more than any other team that's not in their division, so it matters more. The fact that they play each other more often is what builds up that rivalry over time, and because the games are more meaningful, that's what makes rivalries. That's what makes for the best of the sport, the best basketball, baseball, football. So the NBA should consider having divisions at least matter in some regard, other than, you get like a banner up in the rafters, which doesn't matter at all anymore. I mean, they took away even getting a guaranteed top 4 seed. At least bring that back, hopefully maybe bring even more to the table regarding divisions. I think divisions should matter. Like the Lakers and Clippers, those games should be more meaningful than Lakers and Timberwolves. Like I know they're in the same conference, but like they play each other usually the same amount of times. Maybe like they play the Timberwolves 3 times, Clippers 4 times, but whatever it is, the game should matter more because then not only like we're already building up Lakers and Clippers, but like in the big picture, the game doesn't matter. Like it matters just as much as any other game. So it shouldn't. I think it'd be better if it mattered more. So they should look into that. Guys, last but not least, the 5th thing that the NBA should do to make its regular season better, or pretty much one thing they should do to fix the NBA, is to no longer have back-to-backs or just finding ways to reduce injuries, because the NBA always has injuries, just like every sport. They're part of the game, like I said before. But I feel like this year, it's gotten particularly terrible. I mean, like LeBron, Anthony Davis, Embiid was hurt for a little while. Like we've had so many star players go down with injuries, and I know there's no way to really significantly reduce injuries. They're just part of the game. They're unfortunate when they happen. They're just chance. You can't really control them. But maybe there could be ways to reduce the likelihood of them happening. Like I know we already reduced the amount of back-to-backs there were in a regular season from before to reduce injuries, but I would just go ahead and say just have no back-to-backs, because it's not like baseball. Like NBA is a continuous 48 minutes of running up and down the floor. It's way more intense physically and in terms of cardio and just physical. It's a physical sport. Unlike baseball, it's a non-contact sport, of course. So just anything to, reduce the amount of stress you put on your body. So no back-to-backs. I'm fine with watching the Lakers every other day, and maybe only have like 2 games a week or maybe 3 games a week. Something where like it reduces the amount of injuries, because, it's one thing to not have stars because of resting and load management. That's just annoying. But if we can eliminate or at least significantly reduce that and find a way to not have injuries and keep our stars out there, that's what makes for the best product. You come to watch the stars the most in the NBA, more than any other sport, in my opinion. So, I mean, the combination this year of having players still resting, having load management, and then a lot of players being hurt, like we're missing a lot of stars in a lot of games. I look at a lot of good matchups like Lakers and Nets just last week. You're so excited. James Harden, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving against LeBron and AD. And look, like only 2 of those guys were playing. No AD, no LeBron, no James Harden. Kyrie and KD were playing, but like 2 out of the 5, like that's no longer must-watch TV. The best ratings, the reason why the NBA is losing ratings is because their stars aren't playing as much as they should or are able to. So they got to fix that. I think that's the most important thing. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. And again, heavily opinionated. Let me know your opinions. I welcome them. I love your opinions in the comments below. If you can leave them, if you care to, that would be awesome. Consider leaving a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're a big sports fan. Consider that as well. You will not regret it. Also, guys, last thing real quick, just to let you know, a couple days ago, for those of you who don't know, I started a TikTok. So if you like funny videos, if you like sports videos, if you like funny sports videos, consider, following me on TikTok. I make videos maybe once or a couple times a day. I'm going to try to upload every day because it's really fun. I mean, I wasn't really into it, but I like kind of that short, skit, sport, whatever, fitting all my creativity into like a short video. I like that as well. So I'll be doing TikTok and of course YouTube as always. I love doing YouTube and doing it for a while now, and I will never stop, always continue and everything like that. And oh yeah, the TikTok is at Jackstown24. I'll put it in the description below. And also I'll put my Instagram in the description below as always. Consider following me there. I really appreciate it. Subscribing, anything like I said. So that's going to do it for today's video, guys. Thanks again, and I'll talk to you guys later.